Do you know that there is something quietly influencing the direction of your life every single day? And many people barely pay attention to it? Something that can affect your peace, your discipline, your choices, your relationship with others, and even the future you gradually walk into. Something that can either push a person closer toward purpose or slowly pull them away from it. And the truth is, many people spend so much time trying to change things around them without realizing that some of the deepest battles in life begin within. Because before actions happen physically, something often begins internally first. Before fear takes over, before temptation becomes action, before someone loses direction, something has usually been growing quietly on the inside long before anybody else notices it. That is why the condition of what is happening within us matters more than many people realize. Romans 12 verse 2 says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." That verse reveals something powerful. Transformation begins internally before it becomes visible externally. And honestly, when you look carefully at life, you begin to notice this pattern everywhere. A person does not suddenly become filled with fear overnight. It often starts with thoughts repeatedly entertained in silence. A person does not suddenly drift away from God overnight. It often begins gradually through small compromises, distractions, and thoughts that quietly settle within the heart over time. Even purpose often begins internally first. Many of the things people eventually achieve in life often begin as thoughts, vision, direction, discipline, or desires that were first developed within them. This is why what constantly fills your inner life matters deeply. Because whatever consistently influences a person internally will slowly begin shaping them externally. And honestly, this is one of the hidden struggles many people battle today. Every single day, our thoughts are being influenced by something. What we watch, what we listen to, the conversations around us, the environment we constantly stay in, the people we surround ourselves with, the things we repeatedly entertain in silence. And over time, whatever constantly fills a person internally slowly begins to shape the direction of their life. This is why Proverbs 4 verse 23 says, "Guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flow the issues of life." That verse is deeply important because it reminds us that what is happening internally eventually affects everything externally. Sometimes people only focus on outward actions, but God also cares about what is happening within us. Because bitterness begins somewhere. Pride begins somewhere. Temptation begins somewhere. Anger begins somewhere. Fear begins somewhere. And many times, these things quietly grow internally before they eventually become visible externally. That is why we must become intentional about what governs our thoughts and influences our heart daily. Because not every thought deserves control over your life. There are thoughts that weaken faith, thoughts that produce fear, thoughts that create comparison, thoughts that slowly drain peace and direction. And if we are not careful, the noise of the world can slowly shape the way we think without us even realizing it. But as Christians, we are not called to let the world shape our thinking. We are called to allow God renew us internally, so that our life can move in the direction He created us for. And honestly, this is not always easy. Sometimes people are battling things internally that nobody else can see. Negative thoughts, mental exhaustion, fear about the future, confusion, spiritual dryness, temptation, doubt. And this is why we cannot rely only on our own strength. We need God to help us daily. That is why David prayed in Psalm 51 verse 10, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me." David understood something powerful. Spiritual renewal begins internally. He understood that if the heart and inner life are not surrendered to God, it slowly begins to affect everything else. And when a person slowly begins allowing God shape their inner life, something begins to change. Peace begins to grow. Wisdom becomes clearer. Discipline becomes stronger. Direction becomes clearer. Discernment becomes sharper. Because a life surrendered to God is also a heart and mind being surrendered to Him daily. So today, pause for a moment and reflect honestly within yourself. What has been influencing your thoughts lately? What has been feeding your inner life lately? What thoughts have you repeatedly entertained in silence? And are those thoughts drawing you closer toward purpose and toward God, or slowly pulling you farther away? Do not ignore your inner life. Bring it before God. Ask Him to renew you internally. Ask Him to guide your thoughts, your desires, your heart, and your direction. Because sometimes the greatest spiritual battle is not happening around us. It is happening quietly within us. If this reflection spoke to you today, make sure you subscribe and stay connected for more Christian reflections, Bible encouragement, and faith-based storytelling. And if this message encouraged you, comment below. Lord, renew my mind. God bless you.